So hello everybody, welcome to my cooking live stream. So I have to get going. So first let me tell you what I'm making. It sounds very simple, it's a crab salad. But it's not just any crab salad. This is the crab salad that is from the French Laundry in San Francisco. And the chef is Thomas Keller, one of my favorite chefs, and I have his French Laundry cookbook. I'm gonna go get it. This is the French Laundry cookbook, and it's been around for quite a while. It's an amazing cookbook. The recipes are they're complicated, they are not easy. I mean, there are some recipes in here that are a little easier than others, but they're pretty complex because this is like a 5-star restaurant of the top order in America, or in the world, really. It's just an incredible restaurant. Here is the crab salad that I'm making. Now, I'm not sure it's going to look just like the picture, but I'll try, okay? So this is the crab salad. Now, you'll see the green behind it. It is on a thin layer of cucumber jelly. There's not a lot of cooking, actually. It's mostly a lot of prep work. And I have made this once before. It was a few years ago. I've made a small change to this recipe. This recipe calls for fresh Dungeness crabs. So you would have to buy 2 whole Dungeness crabs and then cook them. The crab meat is tossed with a little bit of some heavy cream and mustard. And that's about it. It's extremely simple. But the crab is cooked in something called a court bouillon. There's like a quart of water, and then you put in there carrots, some onions, some leeks, some fennel bulb, and then you put some black peppercorns, and then you put white wine, and then a little bit of vinegar. So the crab cooks in that liquid, and it flavors the meat. I found crab meat that was already removed. Now, because the crab has been pre-cooked and most likely not in a court bouillon, usually they just steam it or quickly boil it fairly quickly. I came up with the idea of taking those same ingredients that you put into the water to cook the crab, and instead putting that into the cream and then just simmering the cream for a little bit with all of those ingredients, and then flavoring the cream with those ingredients, and then you mix that into the crab. And when I did that before, it worked really well. It's sort of like I'm making a tea with the cream, but instead of water, it's cream. So these things are going to add the flavor, the cream. So I want to be sure that it's all really small. So I'm going to put it into a food processor and just completely whiz it up. Now this is a leek that I had. I used this for something else, that's why it looks so sad, but this is just fine for what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to cut up some of this fennel bulb. I don't need a lot of this, so let me just cut it this way. That's probably way more than I need, actually, but I'll get rid of this part. It's all dried up. This part looks a little more fresh. So I'm just cutting these into smaller pieces so that I can put them into the food processor. Put all those in there. And then I have this leek here. I have a part of a leek. So I'm just going to cut that up. I put in my instructions that I should not include onion in the court cream because it was just a little too strong. I'll just add a little bit more leek instead. Peppercorns, I'll throw some peppercorns, and then I'll put the wine and stuff in a little bit later. Oh, and a little bit of lemon juice will go in there as well. I'm going to put some of the lemon peel into this. And the nice thing about lemon peel is there's tons of lemony flavor in the skin of the lemon without all the tartness, or the actual juice itself. Which has a lot of acidity in it. And acid and cream can sometimes conflict a little bit. You can curdle cream if you put too much acid in it. But just putting the lemon peel in there, you'll get lemony flavor without the acidity. Everyone always has so many questions. Did you get a haircut? Is that a new mic? Did you do something different? Are you wearing the same thing? Yes. I could zest it, but I don't need to because this is all of this is going to come out. If the peel was going to go into something and stay in there, then yes, I would zest. I would grate it. Here's my food processor. This is just like Martha. I feel like I'm Martha Stewart with my little setup here. So I'm going to just dump these in here. I'm just going to whiz this up. I'm going to pulse it, and so now I'm just going to turn it on. Ready? That smells so nice. Okay. Whizzing means something different where you're from. No, I don't mean peeing in it. I just mean wazzing. Okay, wazzing it up. I think Jamie Oliver says wazzings. Are you British? Okay, so I'm going to put this now, all of these vegetables that I've grated up into a pot. Let's get that cream out. I've got all of those vegetables that I whipped up there, and I'm just going to put a bunch of cream in there. A bunch of cream. I would say probably about a half a cup is probably what I'm putting in there. Now I'm going to put it on the stove. You probably can't really see the stove very well. Let me see if I can just flip it around just a little bit there. Turn that on medium, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this to just barely a simmer. I just want to warm up that cream with all, and you can see how like it right now, because it's so, it just like looks like thick. I'll probably put a little more cream. What does the cream do? The cream is, what we want out of this is just the cream. So this is gonna, basically, I'm just gonna simmer this with all those vegetables to get the flavor out into the cream. And then I'm gonna strain the cream out of there. Let me put a little peppercorns in there. Those are not peppercorns. Just a few peppercorns in there like that. Oh goodness, I almost forgot the thyme. So these are some twigs of thyme. You don't need very much, so I'm just taking like a twig and just shoving that in there. The cucumbers are next. Let me just take a look at this cream over here. I can hear it just bubbling away here. I'm going to turn the heat down. Okay, I'm making the cucumber diamonds. In the jelly on the plate, the jellies, you can have a very thin layer of cucumber jelly that's going to cover. I'll show you the plates I'm going to use. You need a plate that has like a nice little rim like this. See, this has got a nice little indentation there like that. That's the perfect type of plate. And then you're going to put just a very thin layer of cucumber jelly on the bottom of that plate. And that, you thought I was Anderson Cooper. I know, some people, I get mistaken as Anderson Cooper every once in a while. I wish I had his bank account, that is for sure. You're going to make something called cucumber diamonds that you'll see underneath the jelly under there. And it looks really pretty. This is the type of thing that Thomas Keller does. That's why his food is so amazing. He pays so much attention to all the smallest little details. He makes sure the food doesn't just look good, it tastes amazing as well. So I'm just going to cut this in half like that. And I think I'm going to also cut this. Should I cut it lengthwise? No, I'm going to do that on the mandolin. So I'm going to take a little bit off here. Oh no, I should let that actually. Oh well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is use a mandolin. I'm going to just go very slowly and take a nice strip. That looks pretty good. So it's a fairly thin strip, maybe just a teensy bit thicker. Just a teensy bit thicker. And I'm going to do that one more time, or a few more times. Okay, so I'm just making these thin strips. I'm gonna do a few more. Whether square, cut, or pear shaped, these rocks won't lose their shape. So I'm gonna take off the skin on that side. So basically I've just got like just a completely rectangular piece of cucumber. So now I'm gonna cut that into thin little strips like that. See, just like thin little strips. And then I'm going to cut this at an angle. Okay, so I take those strips, keep them, and then I'm going to cut them at an extreme angle. I'm going to go there, there, and this is going to create the diamond shape. You see, you've got these little tiny cucumber diamonds. Now there's parts of that cucumber that do not look like diamonds, so I'm going to get rid of that part. I only want to keep the parts that look like little diamonds. So I'm putting all the little diamonds in here. So we're going to do this again. I'm going to cut off the skin. Now this part has the seeds in it, which I hate the seeds. So I'm not going to use the seed part. In order to get the diamonds, you have to use just the part of the cucumber that without the seeds, because they won't really keep their shape too well if you have the seeds attached. So I'm just taking the sides off. So let me cut these into diamonds. Ta-da! Diamonds, diamonds. This very fussy precision work is what you pay big bucks for when you go to like a really fine restaurant. An English cucumber would probably work really well because, I mean, they call them seedless, but they do in fact have seeds in them. They're just really small. It's the type of thing you cannot rush. You have to just like have lots of time to do this type of thing and not worry about rushing. See all of our little diamonds? These look good. See? Aren't they sweet? So you'll see how I'm going to use these, and you should make, now if I were doing this for a dinner party, I'd have to make like at least like 2-3 times more than that, but that's good for today. Let me check on the cream over here again. The cream is looking good. So here is the court cream, as we're calling it, or the court bouillon cream. Smells fantastic. So I'm going to just turn that off and leave that sit for now, and that can just slowly cool down. Alrighty, I need 1 cup of cucumber juice from about 1 pound of cucumbers. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to bring out a juicer. Come on out. Oh my goodness, I have not used this in a while. This is a really nice juicer as well. Ooh, it's a little dirty right there. Why, how's it so dirty? I haven't used this in ages. You know, it's one of those things you're like, I'm going to start juicing and like, you're going to live healthy and do all that stuff. And then you're like, oh my God, it takes so long to clean this damn thing. I think I'm just going to, I think I'll just drink wine. It's easier. Okay, now there's a part missing. This thing has a lot of parts, which is why it's a pain in the butt to use, but it works extremely well. Now let me see if I can remember. This goes in here, and then this. Wait a minute, am I doing this correctly? No, that's not right. Okay, oh, wait a minute. I forget how to do this. Does somebody know how to do this? Oh, okay, there we go. Now, okay, it's coming back, it's coming back. There. This goes here. Oh my God. I think you might be able to see a little better on this side. So I'm just cutting these like this into 4s. Okay, let's see how much juice we can get out of this. Shoo, they're slippery. They're so slippery. Okay, there it goes. I think I've done this wrong. Hang on. This way. Just squish that down. Oh, look at that. It's going to have this beautiful green color from the skin. Now, it's quite green, you know. I think I'm going to take off a little bit of the skin. I don't want it to be super green. I want it to be sort of more pale. So I'm going to actually take off some of the skin now, I've decided. Because in the picture, it's like a pale green, which looks really pretty. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the same. Okay, that'll definitely be more than enough cucumber juice for our rest that we'll need for our recipe. That's all we need. We've got all of the cucumber juice that we need, and let me just, still dripping a little bit. Let me just put that under there. Can you see that? See, that's the cucumber juice, and I'm going to strain that as well. This is a fine mesh strainer. Let's see how, there's not too much pulp left. And you can see that beautiful color that it's leaving behind. It's so pretty. So let's see, that's half a cup. So, oh, okay, well, we're close to having, hopefully this will be just enough. Actually, if we have a little bit less, that's okay. We have more than enough, thank goodness. You see, even with the skin peeled, that was quite green. That left it quite green, so. You took a small nap just here in my cooking live stream, CC. So let me just pour out a little bit of the juice to get a cup. So we just leave a cup behind. Okay. And then, let's see, how does it taste just on its own? Oh, delicious. I'm going to put a tiny little pinch of salt in there now. So good. Now, the next step in making the cucumber jelly is the gelatin. That's a sheet of gelatin. And what you have to do is you have to soften it in water. I'm just going to use this tray. So I'm just going to put the sheet of gelatin right down on my tray. Fold this actually you can just cut it with scissors. It sounds like plastic, doesn't it? But it's gelatin. Then I'm going to use some filtered water here, and I'm just going to fill this up just shallow, just to cover the gelatin basically. Those 2 gelatin sheets stay there. Like that. I don't know what the equivalent of like powdered gelatin would be. You can probably also use powdered gelatin, but if you can find like a baking shop where they sell like stuff for baking, you can often find these gelatin sheets. See, it's already getting quite soft. See how soft that is? That's good. That's what we want. I'm just going to leave that there to soften. Use cold water to do that. I've got my quart cream over here. So this is a fine mesh strainer. So I'm just going to pour this. See, it looks so thick, and it is. See all that cream that's coming out as I squish it with the spatula? That is flavored with all those vegetables that I put in there. I'm sure that's about half a cup already, so I don't need to keep squishing this. It's amazing how much liquid keeps coming out every time I squish it, though. There it is. We're calling that a quart cream. I'm going to add now a touch of the wine, literally just a tiny bit, and a little bit of lemon juice as well. Okay. That is good. A little more lemon juice. I'm going to put this into the fridge. I want this to get cold. Here's the gelatin that has been softening in the water. Oh, see, it's very soft. You're supposed to squeeze it out, I guess, to remove some of the water. Then we're going to dissolve it in some heat. So I have this water is boiling in this pot. I'm just going to set it down on this towel. And then this has the sheet gelatin in there. And I'm just going to set this over that heat. And the heat, as it starts to come through, I can see it already. You probably can't. It immediately starts to melt that gelatin. So the sheet gelatin is now turning into a liquid, which is exactly what we want. Perfect. That happened so fast. And now I'm going to start incorporating the cucumber juice. I'm going to just start stirring that right in there like this, because I want to fully dissolve that in there. The gelatin. When I was stirring it around to incorporate the gelatin, it got bubbles in there. I want this to be a pure, clean liquid, like no bubbles. So I'm just going to put that through a strainer down here and hopefully not introduce any new bubbles. And that will actually remove the bubbles. See how they're actually staying behind. Because when I pour this into the plate, I don't want any bubbles on the jelly. See, all the bubbles stayed into the strainer. 2 to 3 tablespoons of the jelly just goes on the bottom of the plate. So let's do this first one. So that's 1, 2, I'm going to put 3. 3. There's a bubble. Let's pop it. Get rid of that bubble. Let's just pour another tablespoon like that. Okay. And then this will start to solidify when it gets cold. So you have to keep it really level as well, because they do have to chill for a while, but I'm going to put them outside. They'll chill even faster. Remember the cucumber diamonds that I made? So now what I'm going to do is you're going to take those and just scatter them around the outside like this. You're just going to place them all around the outside, all around. They don't have to be perfect. Leave a space in the center, though, for the actual crab salad, so you don't have to put them in the very center. And you want them laying flat. And yes, this is very fussy. Most people are not going to go through all this trouble. I do, because I love to do this type of cooking. Okay, so we have that part. Can you see that? I'm just going to arrange those with my finger. It's so fancy. Okay, so let's do the same thing on this plate. This table is obviously, it's not level, so that's why it doesn't look right. I'm just going to take it outside because it's very cold out there right now. Now I'm going to take the other one out, and what I'm going to do is just put a cutting board, one of these plastic cutting boards, on top. So I'll be right back. Oh God. sorry, I have to do a runway walk. Yes! Now what we have to do is wait for everything else to cool down. We'll just have to wait for an hour. So I have my ring molds, and I have two, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to use the smaller one. I'm waiting for several things to happen. I'm waiting for the cucumber jelly to solidify on the plate, which is sitting outside on the balcony where it is. It's 10 degrees. What is 10 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
50 degrees Fahrenheit.
50? Oh, that's not, okay. Really? That's a little too warm. Okay. So I'm not sure that's going to solidify enough out there. It needs to be colder than that. I need to do something different here. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'm going to take out the bread box. So let me just put this out here. I'm going to retrieve those plates that I put outside. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put this into the fridge. I just made some room for it. Oh my God! Let's see if I just stick it in there. How level is that? Not too level. So, all right, I'm going to need to put something under. What can I put? Oh dear Lord. Thank goodness I'm not actually having a dinner party, because I would be absolutely freaking by now. How do you do this in a home fridge? It's ridiculous, but here I am trying to. It's still not 100% level. I'm just shoving more of the towel. Okay, there we go. That looks level. So now I'm going to do this one. So let me see how level this level is. Please be level. No, it's not. Is that more level? Oh, that's better. There we go. Okay. It's quite a bit of crab meat. Yes, okay. 12 ounces. So let me measure out 12 ounces. 2.2 ounces. Oh, maybe this is 12 ounces. Okay, so this is 12 ounces. I probably don't need to make all of that. This is going to be for 2 people, so I'm going to take about half of that. I'm going to put this back in the fridge to keep it cooled. Unfortunately, this is not like a cooking show where it's like I can pull out and say, okay, we have here one that's already been done, pre-done. Okay, let's get them to 50,000 likes. You know, it's too late. It should have been, we should have been at 500,000 likes at this point. I'm very disappointed in all of you. Let me see how things are coming along. It's going to take a while for this to set. I can see it's already starting though. That's good. Let me just put my finger. Okay, that's cold. And it's delicious. I'm just going to use a whisk and just start whisking this bugger. Oh no, I was going to see if I can do that with, let's see if I can do it with, this will be a little quieter. I'm going to see if I can do it with, you know, this little milk foamer. I'm going to see, let's see. Well, oh, I don't want it to make a mess. Because I don't need it to be like fully whipped. I just want it to be sort of thickened. And it is getting thick. It's amazing how that starts to thicken up immediately. It's actually challenging, this tiny little thing. Come on, darling. I know you're just a milk foamer and not a creamer. You can do it. You can do it. So I'm just going to finish this off with a whisk. Now, if I did this in a bowl properly, it probably would be done by now, because usually cream thickens up fast. Let me just switch over. This is clean here. Okay, it's starting. Okay, actually, we're getting there. So I'm just going to put like a tablespoon or two in there. Just a big tablespoon or two, like that. So I'm kind of doing this just for 2 people instead of, the recipe originally is for 6, but there aren't going to be 6 people eating this tonight. Actually, that looks like too much. He says you just need enough to bind together. So that's all we want. And then I'm going to get the grainy mustard. I'm sure there's grainy mustard somewhere in there, but I can't find it. So I'm going to use just some Dijon. I'm just going to put like a scant teaspoon of that, like that. Just mix that together. So I'm just going to put a pinch of salt in there and pepper. I don't have white pepper, so I'm just using red. I don't care. I don't care if you can see the damn little granules of pepper in there. And now here we have our crab. So I'm just going to, we still have big hunks of crab in there. I did break up some of the larger bits. I'm going to add a little bit of this lemon juice as well. Just a tiny little bit. Okay, and I'm going to dump that in. I'm going to mix it in, and I might add more of the cream if I think I need it. And I think I might. I think I might need it. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more of the cream. And I'm really just trying to fold it in. I don't want to break it up anymore. Oh, actually, it's taking quite a bit of cream. That's interesting. Good. I think I put another one in. And I think a little bit more of the mustard as well. So you want to be careful not to break up the meat too much. I'm just going to put that in the fridge now. I guess I should taste it, shouldn't I? Let me just taste a little tiny bit. I'm just going to add a little more lemon. I like the lemon. Oops, a seed. We don't want the seed in there. Okay, well that is delightful. Just add a tiny bit of the cream. There we go. Okay, no more mixing. And I believe that's all we have to add. I'll rinse my fingers off, don't worry. I'm going to prepare the greens. I got some radishes. Now this recipe he calls for you can put microgreens on top, but I just couldn't find them at this time of year here. I just bought some baby arugula and baby spinach. It's a mix, and I'll just use that and with some of these radishes. I'm going to use the mandolin. Must be careful when you're using these things. They are razor sharp. I am very careful. Let me see, is that the right thickness? That's a good thickness. Because I'm going to cut these smaller in order to fit on the salad. I'm going very slow. Now what I'm doing is I'm just piling up a few of those rounds. There's 3 of them, and I'm just going to slice them into little, sort of little matchsticks now. Like that. Isn't that pretty? Can you see that? It's like little matchsticks, and then that will go into the salad. That's going to go on top of the... I probably don't need much more than that, actually, but this is just for 2 people tonight. And that red is going to add a really nice little pop of color as well, which is nice. Let me see how we're doing here. I think it's about ready. The greens just get dressed with a little bit of olive oil, so I'm just going to... This is a nice olive oil. Just squirt a little of that in, a tiny little pinch of salt, and just a little grind of fresh pepper. It's going to be a very small little salad on top. And in this case, it doesn't say to do this, but I'm going to add a few drops of lemon juice as well, just to add some freshness. So that's it. It's just barely at the bottom. Like that is a very, very basic salad dressing. So I have the greens ready. Where did I put the dill? Where are you, dill? When you make this dish, you have to serve it quickly because if the plates start to warm up at all, the jelly will start to turn into liquid. So I have the dill here. I'm just going to pull out some of those, and that's really just going to adorn the plate. I'm going to put a few sprigs of that around the plate. You'll see how it looks. It's going to look gorgeous. So as soon as I plate this, then I'm going to serve it on the table. So I'll be ending the live stream fairly shortly after this is plated. So this is the cream that I made, the quart cream. It adds so much flavor, and in fact, I really love this. I think this is a great innovation, but I should tell Thomas Keller I've improved his recipe. Bouillon is one of Thomas Keller's restaurants. That is the bistro, but his formal restaurant is called the French Laundry in San Francisco, and then he has another one in New York called Per Se, which I believe if it's still in the same place, it's in the Time Warner Center. We've eaten there. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. You got lucky enough to eat at both. Oh, you are so lucky. I've never been at the French Laundry or Bouillon. It's a dream to go there one of these days. I think that the jelly has had enough time to solidify. So let me get the greens ready first. I'm just gonna rip a little bit as well, so you don't have these big long stems. Here's the radish. I'm gonna put that in with the greens as well. That's gonna add such a nice bit of crunch to the dish, which it's gonna need because there's a lot of soft things in there. It has a lot of, the crab salad itself is gonna be quite soft, so, plus the jelly underneath it. I'm going to use a little mold. I'm just going to put a little oil in there, like that. Probably isn't necessary. And just rub it with some oil. So I'm going to put a portion of this crab, about half. So remember, this is like an appetizer portion. This is what you would serve, like if you're having people over for dinner and you want to serve something really lovely as the first course. Really elegant and lovely. That's exactly what this would be. Okay. Okay, so I have that ready. All right, it's time to bring the plates out. There we go. See, there's our plates with the cucumber jelly. Beautiful. And you can see that it has the little cucumber diamonds that we put down. So I'm just going to add a few little sprigs of green, like that. Isn't that beautiful? That should be enough. So now I'm going to bring over, let's see if this works. Oh, hang on here, it wants to fall out really quickly. Okay, oops. Okay, and then on top, we're going to put a few of these greens with the radishes. So I'm just dressing them in the olive oil. Very gently, I'm trying to keep it on top of the crab only. Put a few of these little radishes around to make it look pretty. See, if we had real microgreens, it would look really pretty, even better. All right, there's one plate all ready to go. And now we're going to do this one. I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try just putting this directly onto the plate and try it that way. I think that might be a bit easier. We'll see. So I'm going to put the crab down in there. Okay, and then I'm just going to lift that off very gently. There we go. That looks beautiful. I want to make sure there's enough of the radish on top like that. And there we go. Doesn't that look gorgeous? And that beautiful cucumber jelly, it looks stunning. And oh my God, okay, I'm just gonna get a few pictures quickly. Just like a person, a dish always has its best angle. Oh, okay, I think this is a good angle. So I'm gonna post these on my Instagram if you want to see them. With that, I'm going to bid adieu and farewell, and thank you all for coming to watch the live stream. This is Thomas Keller's Dungeness crab salad on a cucumber jelly with cucumber diamonds and dill and a little salad on top. Okay, bye everybody.